At first, she seemed completely interested. Her replies were fast, her energy felt warm, and the chemistry almost looked obvious. Then suddenly, she pulled away. Her texts became colder. She started taking longer to respond. Maybe she even acted like you were chasing harder than before. Most men panic at this stage because they misunderstand what's actually happening beneath the surface. They assume attraction disappeared overnight. But the real reason is deeper than that. Women are emotionally driven by tension, uncertainty, and emotional safety at the same time. That combination creates contradictions even they don't fully understand. A woman can genuinely feel attracted to you and still become distant immediately afterward. Why? Because attraction makes her emotionally vulnerable. And vulnerability feels dangerous when she doesn't fully trust the situation yet. Here's where it gets interesting. The moment she feels herself becoming emotionally invested, she often unconsciously pulls back to regain control. Most men never realize this. The distance is frequently less about losing attraction and more about testing emotional stability. She wants to see whether your confidence collapses the second her behavior changes. This is why desperate texting, emotional over-explaining, or demanding reassurance almost always destroys momentum. The more reactive you become, the more she feels your confidence depended entirely on her validation. And there's another hidden layer. Women are highly sensitive to emotional pressure. The second a man starts acting needy, overly available, or emotionally rushed, attraction quietly weakens because the mystery disappears. She stops feeling emotional tension and starts feeling responsibility. That changes everything. But when a man remains calm, grounded, and emotionally composed during her distance, something unexpected happens inside her mind. Curiosity starts growing again. She begins wondering why you aren't chasing validation like everyone else. And that's exactly where the real psychology begins. Because her silence is often communicating something most men completely miss. Her distance does not always mean rejection. Sometimes it means she's observing you more carefully than ever before. Women often pay closer attention when they pull back emotionally because space reveals a man's true emotional nature. Does he become insecure? Does he lose control? Does he start performing for attention? Or does he remain centered in himself without needing constant reassurance? That answer silently determines whether attraction deepens or dies. Confident men understand something most men never learn. Attraction grows strongest in emotional space, not emotional pressure. When you constantly force conversations, seek reassurance, or chase clarity, you accidentally interrupt the emotional tension that creates desire. But when you allow silence to breathe without panicking, you communicate emotional strength without saying a word. Here's where it gets powerful. A woman often reconnects emotionally when she senses you're still focused on your own life, your goals, your energy, and your direction. Not because you're playing games, but because emotional independence is deeply attractive. It signals that your identity is not controlled by her attention. And ironically, that security makes her feel safer, becoming emotionally invested herself. Most men respond to mixed signals emotionally. Attractive men respond strategically. They don't punish distance. They don't beg for closeness. They simply lean back slightly, maintain their emotional composure, and allow her curiosity to come toward them naturally. That calmness creates mystery. And mystery is one of the strongest emotional triggers in attraction. But the final psychological truth is this. Women are rarely attracted only to looks, money, or words. They are attracted to emotional experiences. Specifically, how you make them feel when uncertainty enters the connection. Any man can appear confident when things are easy. But the man who remains calm, secure, and emotionally grounded when things become unclear instantly becomes unforgettable. Because in a world full of men reacting emotionally, the rare man who stays composed feels different. And different is what creates obsession.